Some people will tell you shouldn't have surgery for aesthetic purposes. My view, that's nonsense. What's sexy time like? Would I do it again first? Any regrets? Any doubts? No, but. Hello gorgeous, welcome back to my channel, and I'm going to be covering transition surgery. No? What am I talking about? Transgender bottom surgery, reassignment surgery, affirmation surgery, whatever you want to call it. I'm covering it in this one. What it's like 2 years on. It's been 2 years since I was in Thailand having my surgery. Gosh. So what's it like? I hear so many things. I hear so many people having opinions on this who've never had the surgery, and people giving so many reasons why you should and shouldn't have the surgery. At the end, I'll cover my opinions on whether I think surgery is good for you or not, and what sort of things you should ask yourself. But first, let me cover what it's like in a nutshell. So, as I said, I had the surgery 2 years ago in Thailand. If you want to know more about the clinic, I can put some details in the description. This isn't a promotion video for the particular clinic, but I will say this. It's a good idea to do your research first. Choose carefully where you want to go. There's a lot of variety. And Thailand has got a lot of great surgeons and hospitals that do this sort of surgery. It's really popular there. But there's surgeons all over the world that can, they can do this. There's also lots that can't, but say they can. So be very careful. It's quite a delicate procedure. You want somebody that knows what they're doing. However, even with a surgeon that is really good at what they do, the surgery sucks. That's the only way I can put it. Now, bear in mind, regulars who have watched my journey over some years will know I've had a lot of surgery. Arms, bum, boobs, tummy, and I've got lots more to come. This, the plumbing, was like nothing I prepared for. Even after having a lot of surgery, this one was quite a special ouchie. Uncomfortable, emotionally bonkers, very different to any other surgery I've had. So yeah, it was rough. In terms of pain and weakness, it was like nothing. I don't know, like bum surgery was the most painful I had right after, and boob surgery was very painful like right after, and by this I mean within the first 24 hours. This, not so much. This took a long time. My right leg is still a little bit funny. It's still, when it was held in these stirrups, my right foot is still a teeny bit less sensation than I had. But for a while it was like hypersensitive because of like the way the nerves were compressed. I couldn't even stand. I couldn't stand for nearly a week because I couldn't feel my feet. It was insane. It was emotionally terrifying, crazy. Whereas with every other surgery I had, I was able to get back to sort of a normal routine within a couple of weeks, and even back to the gym and regular exercise within a few months. With this, I was still healing a year after, and properly healing, and the things you have to do afterwards. Whereas with every other surgery I've had, you're pretty much on, you have to wear compression clothes for a week or two, but it's no big deal. This, you have to do things, look after yourself in very different ways that you're going to be used to. It's a serious commitment. So yeah, in brief, although nothing I've said has been brief so far, the surgery is rough. So the next thing I get asked is, what's it like going to the bathroom right after surgery, after you've had the plumbing rearranged? And this was something I was really curious about too. What's it like? Different. Not what I expected. The weirdest part, first of all, is everything comes from somewhere else. It's like, oh, okay, that's happening now. You're expecting, if you're used to having like a penis, having the evacuation part is much sooner of the process. There's less plumbing there. So you think you've still got some control? No. Whereas before you had like a little hose pipe and a tap, now you've got a little bucket and no tap. It's just like, out we go. Yeah, so that's a surprise. The reduction in the amount of plumbing that you have, that caught me out. And then there's just the sensation. It's more of a floosh. And it's over, and less of a flow. No flow anymore. That's over. So that's what that's like. Then hygiene was a surprise, and it doesn't come with the instruction manual, but hygiene is far more important now. Now, I thought hygiene was going to be easier afterwards. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought it was more of a, less to do. Everything's tucked away now and you just sort of wipe it on your way. No. Whereas before you had to, minimal maintenance was required, just keeping things clean, you know what I'm saying, in the shower, and you know what I'm talking about. I hope you know what I'm talking about. Now, everything's tucked away and harder to get to, and you can't direct jets anywhere. That's dangerous and harmful. You can get infections. So you've got to be gentle and massagey, and I personally use different products now, specially formulated for those delicate areas. So yeah, and I thought, and this shows naivety, even from when I read about, I think I was reading actually Fear No Evil and Robert Heinlein's science fiction book from a very, very early age. Mind-blowing book, by the way. So I've always thought that things were just a little easier in terms of hygiene. Now they're not. You need a lot more self-care with that side of things. As a guy, you can just go a day, maybe even 2 days, and not be like, if you get a bit of a stink, you can just put some deodorant on and get on with your day. It's not like the end of the world. You're just a bit funky. Now, 6 hours, 8 hours, by the end of the day, you really need a shower. And it's a matter of necessity. Your hygiene routine needs to be stepped up. Let me just tell you that much. You can't get away with slumming it anymore, So yeah, so that was a surprise. Now let's get to the good bits. The aesthetic. Some people will tell you shouldn't have surgery for aesthetic purposes. My view, that's nonsense. We all have facial surgery, hair, all kinds of surgeries, boob jobs, butt implants, all those are for aesthetic purposes. There are no health benefits to improving your physique and your aesthetic. And honestly, my view, it's no different to the plumbing to gender reassignment surgery. The aesthetic is important, and for me, I hated tucking. I hated not being able to wear attractive underwear and lingerie, and I hated that bulge. I couldn't stand any of that. So I love the aesthetic now. Although weirdly, because I've had tummy tucks and fat removals and liposuction all over the place, but not in that area, it can be a bit puffy if I put the pounds on. Like on COVID, it's like, oh, I've got chubby again. I don't want to get too sensitive here, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, hello. So that's interesting. I'm going to get that fixed next year. But yes, but the aesthetic is so much better. And for me, that was a really big part of it, I'll be honest with you. Some people will say it shouldn't matter. I'll get to the reasons later, but yeah, so the aesthetic, and this is where a good surgeon matters too. You don't just want someone that takes a box cutter to everything. You need somebody that's got some artistry involved, because trust me on this, it's really important, especially if you want to wear bathers or do all that good stuff. Get a surgeon that can, artistic. You know what I'm saying? Curiously, on the aesthetic side of things, travel. Now, I travel a lot, or did travel a lot until COVID came along and ruined all that. And one of the things that I used to dread was going through security at airports. The full body scanners that we have in most of Europe and certainly in the US are really good at detecting anomalies in your pants, especially if you present as female. You get passed through the security scanner as female, and the scanner's like, hang on a minute. What's going on there then? Happened to me every time. They're like, are you smuggling sausages? What's going on? Oh, and then I start to talk and I give the game away. So as harsh as that sounds, that happened a lot. And so I was finding myself being patted down and searched and checked. Hated it. Now, I've done international travel several times. Like a breeze, straight through, no anomalies detected. Good times. Mwah, chef's kiss to that. The other big question that I want to ask all the time, and some people don't want to ask, but they're like too afraid to. What's sexy time like? And weirdly, this is one that I see a lot of people, particularly in some sort of cross-dresser groups and autogynephiles and, people who are generally more fetishist regarding transgender stuff. It becomes a bit of an obsession. For transsexuals, less so. But what's it like? Great. I know people that haven't had a good experience, and I understand why, because the surgery is tricky, which is why, again, it goes back to picking the right surgeon. Depth is not as important as you may think. I was very lucky. I have plenty of depth, which was great, and a good surgeon will help you there. Not that important, though. The fun stuff happens somewhere else. It's amazing. Things that I'd heard about and I thought were just rumors, and I didn't. Because here's the thing. When you have a clitoris, it's essentially made from the same stuff that the helmet, the end of a penis is made from. So I thought, even though I've read people saying that intercourse and orgasms after surgery are very different, didn't really understand it. Other than an emotional level, I thought the feelings and sensations would be much the same. They're not. Because of how you get there, the action is different, but they are so much more drawn out now. Something which I found, which cisgender women seem to have an issue with, is getting to an orgasm. Although I think that's mainly through sex with others, because somebody's in control of that. But certainly if you're on your own and you want to, this is becoming very graphic here, but if you're on your own, achieving an orgasm, no problem. And it's another chef's kiss for that, because oh man, yeah, that's really good. With an individual, it's a different story. It depends on the person, who you're with. That's all the same as before. So there's a lot more emotion involved, intercourse with others. So that's down to the individual to discover for themselves. But in terms of just getting nasty with some toys, zero complaints. okay? So then, long term, over 2 years, what's it like? Any regrets? Would I do it again? Would I do it again first? Absolutely. No change there. Any regrets? No regrets. I would do it again. Any doubts? No, but. And that's kind of a thing of, sometimes you get like a phantom memory, you go to adjust things, and if especially if you're used to doing that and as tacit memory, that little short tuck, that isn't there anymore. So that's like, oh yeah. And sometimes you forget. And I mean, early on, I haven't done this for a long time, but early on, I would go into the bathroom and stand up to pee. Because I still used to stand to pee, even right before surgery, even a couple of years ago. Yeah, that ship has flown. Now, that ain't happening no more. And at first, you forget. Maybe a little tip here, if you're going to have gender reassignment surgery, sit to pee for as long as you can, because then you won't have these awkward, oh yeah, that doesn't work now. And if you're not paying attention, that can get messy. So, yeah. Advice. So sometimes I kind of think, and this is where this leads us on quite nicely to the next topic, the emotion of it. Other than the physicality, which as I said right at the beginning, it's an extremely tough procedure. It really knocks you out for quite some time. Is it right for you? Was it right for me? Is it right for everyone? For anyone? For everyone? And this is where I have a real problem with some of the transgender forums and groups that I see on Facebook and various places. Is people who don't really know much about it telling others, oh yes, you should definitely have surgery, it's the best. Or, no, you mustn't have surgery, don't do it. It's different for everyone and it's different for you. The reasons why you may want surgery will be different to the reasons that other people may want to have surgery. For me personally, early on in my life, I hated having a penis. As I got older, I just kind of got used to it and didn't really get bothered by that so much anymore. You learn to live with things. Maybe it's a maturity thing, I just wanted to get it done. It wasn't like for me a deep emotional thing. It was just something I really wanted to do. And I see some people that seem to believe like it's this massive emotional, you must do it. And then when you have the surgery, it's like the heavens open and there's unicorns and cherubs and the clouds part, and none of that. It's just, there we go, that's taken care of. It's like having a mole taken off or something by this point. Although that does make light of what is actually a very serious surgery. But that's all it was for me. It was just let's get it done then, But for you, it might really be a strong emotional thing. It depends on the individual, okay? My point is, don't let other people tell you whether surgery is right for you or not. And that's where I'm going to leave this one. I hope that was useful. Feel free to ask questions. You can add me on Instagram, on Twitter, whatever. Ask any questions you like. I'm very open about everything. I'll happily try to answer anything I can. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please subscribe, hit that alarm bell so you'll be kept informed, maybe, of everything I do, and share and comment. I'd love to know what you think. Leave your comments and questions below. Even the haters, give me a thumbs up if you like it, give me a thumbs down if you didn't. It's all good. And haters, keep on hating because your content is superb. Just gives me more stuff for my hate videos. Thank you so much. I love you guys. I shall see you in the very next show. Popping up over there is the last show I put out, and below that is the one YouTube thinks you should watch next. Bye.